no one had a perfect childhood. Everyone's been traumatized in their own way. So does it take trauma to create something? Yes. The idea of going outside and painting something big that could be judged, that people would see me, it gave me a lot of anxiety. It's a crazy world, right? And the answer is love. And everyone says it, and it's in movies and it's in books. You don't need to show off. You don't need to do the every fucking hair on that portrait. You could just, that's like kind of like, I'm enough. And then I start to really believe it, because the first time I said it, or the first time you said it to me, or someone else said it to me, I didn't believe it. You're pretty closed-minded, and you're pretty like cowardly about this, creating art from a positive place. It took me years for me to have breakthroughs, but I'm trying to get a breakthrough within 6 hours. Like, as an artist, I had subscribed to the starving artist like type, right? It was like top ramen, holes in your clothes, like homeless. Like, I was like, that is what a real artist is. Until I met a successful artist, until I was like, oh shit, like you can have a manager and an agent and an office, and like you can like not starve. And I remember at that point, I was in my early 20s. I was like, man, people sure like talk about money a lot, right? Like, it seems to be like this thing that causes a lot of problems in marriages and business. And I go, it doesn't seem that hard to me. And I'm saying this as a guy in my 20s that's poor. I'm like, what if I just like try to be as rich as possible for the next 10 years or 5 years? Like, what if that's my singular focus? And so I did it, and it was a lot of work, but like the video game of money is over for me now. People go, oh, that's like this Korean Forrest Gump, and he was like this homeless guy that like got lucky with Facebook. I'm like, that was like a lot of work to make that happen, And I was already kind of wealthy when I made that deal, but people like to tell that story.
David Choe's artwork caught the attention of Sean Parker, the founder of Napster. In 2005, Parker was appointed as president of a new startup called Facebook, and he knew just the artists to transform their Silicon Valley headquarters. Choe's murals brought an artistic flair to the company's early days, helping it to establish an innovative culture that would later transform social media. After Choe's realization of artists can make money too, he decided to charge $60,000. Parker gave Choe two options. Either he picked the cold hard cash or take the stock. He decided to invest and take the stock. In 2012, Facebook went public at $38 per share. That's when his stock options kicked in, and suddenly Choe found himself with a net worth of over $200 million. It's safe to say that he made the right decision by choosing shares over the short-term money, since that investment eventually paid off for him in a very big way. Imagine if you had the opportunity to get shares of something that would eventually pay off like that. Oh wait, you actually do, thanks to our sponsor, Masterworks. You see, with Masterworks, you can curate your own art collection for a fraction of the cost. Masterworks acquires art from legends like KAWS, Basquiat, and Banksy, and securitizes them, which allows you to invest in shares of the artwork and potentially see impressive returns when it sells. In fact, in the past 12 months, they paid out over $25 million in net returns to their investors. Now, Forbes, CNN, and CNBC are raving about the idea. With press like that, demand is surging, and over 617,000 people have signed up so far. Offerings like KAWS have sold out within minutes, but our subscribers can skip the waitlist and claim a complimentary, no-obligation account today at the link in the description. Now back to the video.
Do you need to suffer to create great art? And it's like one of these questions that's always asked, and the answer is just yes. It's just yes. If you're talking about suffering and trauma, we've had it. No one has had a perfect childhood. No one. That's what I've learned is we try to put trauma on as a competition. Like, oh, this person had the worst childhood. This person just didn't get the presents he wanted for his birthday. But all those things are, as our friend Kevin likes to say, maximum to them. And so no one had a perfect childhood. Everyone's been traumatized in their own way. So does it take trauma to create something? Yes. But the thing is, you've already had it, right? Like I got stuck in a cycle where I'm like, I got the living shit kicked out of me by this guy Reza, And I hated, you hit it on the mark. I hated how that made me feel. The black eyes healed, the nose healed, the pain, it sucked and then it went away. The shame, the humiliation lasted forever. And from that, I will never, ever make another human being make me feel like that again, ever. And how do I do that? Do I go to the gym? Do I learn actual ninja skills? No, I'm not going to do that. But where can I shine? When I draw. When I draw, girls notice me, my parents notice me, everyone notices me. So if I can draw even better, then people like Reza will never fuck with me. And what are the things that I can accomplish by being a great artist? I can make money, I can get fame, and once I'm an important enough VIP, important person, then people like that won't fuck with me. It was both. I remember having a very happy childhood at the same time, being in like just a lot of anxiety and pain all the time. There's this song, Slaves and Bulldozers, and I remember being at my house and playing it as loud as possible. I had my headphones and I had it on I think I had it on cassette or CD, and I would just listen to it over and over. And I would start getting myself hyped up for going out to do graffiti. And I wasn't part of a gang or a crew or anything. It was just me and some spray paint that I stole. And I would just listen to that song, and there's a lyric in the song where he goes, "Now I know why you've been shaking." And I didn't know, I was 15, I didn't know what that meant, but I loved that line, and I would sing it back with him. And then I would start punching myself in the face, soft at first, and then I was so, like I said, my background is drawing drawings in in a sketchbook, it's like this. Mm-hmm. Like I don't, it's my world. I draw in my sketchbook and then I close it. The idea of going outside and painting something big that could be judged, that people would see me, it gave me a lot of anxiety. So this is the way I would get myself hyped up. And then I would start, what if another gang sees me, drawing over their stuff, or what if the police chase me, or what if, there's all these what ifs. So I would be like, there's nothing you can do to me that I can't do to myself. I'll hurt myself first. I'll get myself, So I'd get myself hyped up. I'd already get some adrenaline going just from hitting myself, and then I would go out, and then I'd get out there, and I had no idea on how to paint using a spray can. It's one thing to use a brush and a pencil, and so I'd get out there, and I'd freeze. I'd be like, I don't know what to do. And then I just started writing my name, David Choe, and it wasn't a tag. It wasn't my alter ego. And I would just start writing it. And I would right next to it, I'd draw a cute whale. So if you're listening now, and no judging, I don't care what video games, porn, the internet, YouTube, binge watching TV, food, whatever your thing is, no judging. The same brain that got you into this mess is not the one that's going to get you out. You need a hand, and all those tools, all these electronics, all these things that are used for evil and to numb you and distract you, you can use those same tools to, I've been to these places that cost money, but there's so much free services. There's literally a 12-step program for every addiction. And if you think you are any of these things, am I a workaholic? Mm-hmm. Just type in characteristics of a workaholic, and you'll see if you are very quickly. 2009 was my last art show where I actually sold stuff for money, and I didn't feel good. It was my galler Steve Lazaridis is Banksy's guy, and he's like, Choe, you're on fire. Street art's on fire right now. What do you want to do? I go, it's gonna be in LA. It has to be in LA. It has to be on Rodeo Drive. It has to be on the most expensive street in the world, and I want every celebrity there, and and so it did. It happened. It was a show in Beverly Hills. All the celebrities came. All the fancy people came. I sold all the art. And the next day, I didn't feel any different. And then at that point, the artist gets objectified to I got a Basquiat, I got a Choe, I got a Banksy. Right, and I'm the guy that's buying my art that can afford it, he doesn't care about the art. He just wants to Like it's a dick contest, right? He just wants to show off like, hey, I got a Choe. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not what the universe wants for me to like just make expensive stuff. So at that point I told my manager and everyone I work with, I'm like, everything now is free. Like painting with kids, painting with guys just out of jail, painting with at-risk youth, murals, museum, anything where it's free. That's what I'm about. I'm not, or if I like someone, I'll just trade or give it to them, but I'm not selling shit anymore. And everyone has their game. Like Hollywood people are like, I gotta get that Emmy or that Oscar or, and so I like pick the game I want to play, money, power. And then it's like, I sit here and the thing that I learned, the number one important lesson from gambling is get out while you're ahead is like, I love how much money I have right now. Like it's the perfect amount. I love that, like I have no regrets. Like I've had sex with so many different women that like I don't need that anymore. I could be a monk for the rest of my life if I want to, and so there's only one final quest, and that's the spiritual quest, right? And that's where like people say shit like the answer is love, and it's like it is. And we live in this world now where it's like it's a crazy world, right? And the answer is love. And everyone says it, and it's in movies and it's in books, but it's what does that path look like? With me being at the best, like in my opinion, the best I've ever felt, I'm the happiest I've ever been. This is the best part of my life right now. There is a narrative that just screams, so your art must be shitty then, because you don't got that thing. You don't got that to like, you have no part of you that needs to prove because you know why? Because you're enough. You don't need to show off. You don't need to do every fucking hair on that portrait. You could just and abstract it in, like, so that's a narrative. But the truth is, like I was saying, does, great art require suffering? I've already suffered. You've already suffered. So just like the way you did right there, I can tap into it.
You can get into
I
that.
can tap into it at any time. I don't have
That's
to be angry.
That's a great answer.
I could just tap into it. If you see me on a hike, I hike a lot. I'm literally saying out loud, I'm enough while I'm hiking. That's like kind of like, I'm enough. And then I start to really believe it, because the first time I said it, or the first time you said it to me, or someone else said it to me, I didn't believe it. And I still struggle with it. But if it is true that it's enough, then it is actually the most creative time in my life, because I have thousands of drawings, thousands that no one's ever seen. And I do them just with my baby. And like if I'm playing with her, I go, okay, I could just dial it in right now, read her a book, just do normal dad shit, or I can just create a fucking insane magical world for right now, audience of one, right? But that takes time. It's going to take hours. I'm going to have to make this costume. And it's like, oh, I should film it. Or, I should, my brain goes into like my mom, Jane Choe marketing, like, oh, then I should make a children's book and monetize it, and I go, I got to get over myself and go, this is something that's just for me and my family. Oh, fuck, but people should see it, and it's going to get so many views, and it can make money. But in my opinion, it's the most creative I've been. It's not for an audience. It's not for everybody. There's so much when you tell someone, or when I tell myself I want to be an artist, right? It's not like I just sit down and I start painting. It's, what is this for? Let me ask you this. In your adult working life, have you ever taken a year off?
No.
When that was recommended to me, it was the same thing as me asking Steve-O to do a stunt and not film it, or Rain to do a performance and not have anyone see it. It was like, that you're taking away my identity. My identity is work.
Yeah.
Everything is for work. For someone even called me out on the thing you just said. They were like, for someone who's rebelled against everything their whole life, you're pretty closed-minded, and you're pretty like cowardly about this creating art from a positive place. Because you have all these examples to support your argument of how it, look at this guy, and look at how messed up Picasso is, and look at how, so you have so many examples to support the messed up artist, thing, but why can't you be the first, right? If you can't think of any examples of someone who's well-adjusted, has a loving life, and also an amazing artist, why don't you be the first? Why don't you try? It took me years for me to have breakthroughs, but I'm trying to get a breakthrough within 6 hours.